Alright, so what's up, guys? This is a quick vlog post. Just some things related to depression, mental health in general. To be honest, I thought about starting this vlog 1,000 times, and I've probably delayed it at least a year, maybe two. And I think there's a lot of fear that comes with starting any vlog and putting yourself on a video and then sharing it out on the internet. And part of that is not knowing who cares. I think mental health in particular is a really hard topic, probably for everyone, but in particular for me. So today, like the thumbnail kind of suggests and the illustration, this episode really is just centered around kind of what depression is. I don't think it's very clear to most people, including myself, before I kind of really realize the grip that depression had on me. We think someone that is suffering from depression is just really, really sad. It's definitely part of it, right? It's very common to almost interchange the words of like sadness and depression, and many times is oversimplified. Mental health in general is kind of unique to each individual, which is part of why it's actually really hard to treat a lot of times. As the graphic shows, kind of what people think is that like sadness is the overwhelming emotion that dominates what depression is, when in reality it's really more apathy. There's times I almost wish it was something like sadness, because knowing what you feel and just feeling something in general, from my experience, especially talking to many people that struggle with depression, especially when you consider how many people go undiagnosed with symptoms of depression long before they eventually do get diagnosed with depression, is that the most daunting part about depression is actually apathy. And apathy, man, that emotion is like a ninja. It somehow gets in there without you even noticing, and it hooks its knife into you really, really tightly. And before you know it, it's overwhelmed you and has robbed you of the interests and the feelings and the enjoyment that you once had. You know, it's like the world at one point was filled with sounds and people you wanted to see, music you wanted to hear, and all the sounds, the sights, the people, the feelings. It all gets the volume turned down. And all of a sudden, everything doesn't seem that interesting to you, and you feel so tired. And you don't even hold the remote. It's like you feel like someone else is controlling the volume, the colors, the sounds, everything that you interact with. It's like somebody else holds the key to how you interpret and feel. And that apathy, not knowing why you don't enjoy things, not knowing why you don't have motivation to do the stuff that you once did. Like, not only is it paralyzing, it makes you really feel almost like a loser, like you're letting everyone down, your family, your friends, your coworkers, and it only compounds the mental health struggle that you have with things like depression and anxiety. If you're watching this, it's almost certain that you are suffering from depression. But if you are not, and by chance you're here because you want to find out more about depression to help support your friend, then you are already ahead of the curve. Because I think one of the biggest tragedies of thinking depression equals sadness is that sadness can be kind of improved or assuaged by somebody by giving you a lot of sympathy. But that doesn't quite work. In fact, it almost gives a negative feeling when someone tries to give you sympathy for having depression. It to a person that's really struggling with depression, it almost feels like an insult. And while every person that is depressed will appreciate sympathy because we know it's from a good place, the truth of the matter is sympathy really sounds like a Hallmark card, and you don't even know what that Hallmark card is for. You know, Brené Brown, if I don't know if whoever is watching this has heard of that, but she has a really great animated video, which I'll link to this video, which describes the difference between empathy and sympathy. But a watered down version, a very simple version that I'll kind of end this video with, is that sympathy really acts as like someone that is already in a better place that wants you to be in a better place with them. And, you know, they genuinely have faith, concern, and your best interests, except that's not very helpful when you feel like you can't even control yourself. But instead, empathy, an empathetic approach, is when you kind of lower yourself, and not lowering yourself as in like you were in a higher position, but really stripping yourself down. And instead of looking at their problems from your perspective, you go to their perspective, the best of your ability. Because if they've confided in you, the chances are that you probably know them pretty well. You're a close friend, your family member, you're a trusted entity. And in doing so, you're in sometimes a very unique position, to be able to understand how and why they act the way they do and put your mind in their position so that you can help them. In the end, someone saying one sentence that tells me that they've put some effort into understanding my struggles makes me feel 100 times better than someone writing out some really nice, sympathetic statement with all the positivity, which has good intentions. Things like, look, you're so strong, you'll get through this, time will heal it all. These are all great things to say, and sometimes very good advice for other situations, but not for depression. I don't know how many people this video is going to reach. Maybe nobody. But my goal was that there are a lot of people in pain because of mental health. And if I just make that person feel just a little bit less alone, I suppose this will be worth it. But I don't even need someone to watch this video, because in the end, these vlogs will serve as entries for myself as a reminder of the things that I struggled with and what I tried to do to improve my life. In the next vlog, I'll go through kind of what I believe are the best coping mechanisms to combat some of the symptoms best you can with depression. Hope we can, start a dialogue, and again, hopefully I can help you guys a little bit understand some of the emotions, confusion that comes with depression. And honestly, I bet there's a lot of people out there that may or may not ever watch this that can help me, because depression is tough. Life is tough. Learning from you guys was great and a privilege. So hopefully I'll turn out a couple more videos and see where this heads. See if it helps anyone at all. Like I said, even if it doesn't, it'll serve as a reminder myself.